So today is the day. I actually had to swap training sessions just to record something usual. Yesterday was more muscle damaging training session. I only did bench press and incline bench press, and so today I'm gonna do what I was supposed to do yesterday, which is more energy system training stuff, sprints, jumps, whatever the hell there is, and just getting moving through my training sessions as quick as I can. I'm horrible to myself, I plan my own training sessions, so the one I'm gonna do now will be a lot of lower body based, and now I'm just trying to figure out where the hell to do it, because I like to start training sessions with some sprints. I might do it outside, but it's a bit slippery, and because I'm oversized, it might not be safe. That being said, I do all this stuff just because being my size is not healthy. And I know even training the way I am training now, probably not gonna help me much in the long run, as opposed to just doing some weights throughout the gym, but it makes me feel better because my obsession is to always be the way I was when I was like 10, 20 years ago, starting out training. I was never obsessed about looking certain way, being the biggest guy in the gym and all those kind of things. That just came from hard training and eating right. But my obsession is always to be athletic and be mobile and be agile. And today I'm just gonna show you some training sessions that probably are less demanding on amount of skill set you need to execute. Because when you want to train for size, which a lot of people want to do in sense of getting toned up or getting hypermuscular and whatnot, you actually need to understand anatomy and how your body moves. Whereas these type of training sessions, you just go with the flow. And it's much better to follow these when you are traveling and all those kind of things, which I did for last 12, 13 months. Every single month I was in a different country. If you understand human psychology, we are only happy when you're making progress. It's very hard to make progress when you're traveling a lot in sense of aesthetics. So ditching that out of the way, following this plan, and then when I'm fit, healthy, and I'm grounded at home for at least good 3-4 months, I will go into hypertrophy block to actually work on my aesthetics, which in my hierarchy of needs is pretty much at bottom of the line when it comes to resistance training. So let's get it going. I'm not looking forward to this. Only reason I'm loading it up because there is not a lot of space to move. So it has to be intense. We're gonna do there back, reverse lunges, there back, reverse lunges. Main focus of this is just to get as high intensity work as possible to cool down as quick as I can, and then get excited again. Not just doing stuff, but doing stuff so I can go from really intense work into really calm place. Never gets fucking easier. And if you notice, the way I move is not to do reps or sets or whatever. It's to improve range of motion of how I move. Big twists, big turns, all pays off at the end. And that's another thing, people just come to the gym to get tired and they never set goals where they want to be. And the biggest downfall is they never acknowledge where they are, so they never feel satisfied. Let's fucking go. That's just warm up. I always think, why the fuck is my coach so horrible to me? Just realized I'm my fucking coach. So with these, I'm not chasing load. I'm actually checking if there is any difference between my right and left side, my adductors, my hamstrings, hip flexors, all those kind of things. These training sessions are not about causing muscle damages, checking how well I move. This is one of the reasons why I'm not pushing my body weight up. 2 or 3 kilo difference in my body weight will change completely how I move. For example, when I'm 120 kilos, I hate training because everything I do just does not feel right. Never mind that I don't fit in my car anymore. All the people who are trying to just get bigger, think about that, what you are actually willing to give up for that. Because that's a lot of time eating, a lot of time sleeping, feeling lethargic as hell because muscle growth is extremely energy demanding. So if you are running some kind of business or something where you need to be with mental clarity, you'll struggle. You'll struggle big time. So make sure your fitness is up to par so you can actually put physical demands on your body to change in faster rate without sacrificing mental side of everything you do day to day. When you're young and you don't need to think about anything, you live with your mom and dad or friends or whatever, it's easier. But when you have family, business, friends, a lot of other stress, thinking in the back of your head about your taxes and whatnot, you don't have too much room for error anymore. That's what you need to really knuckle down and have clear plan, clear execution. So my goal now is, I've done this for 8 weeks, I got another 12 weeks to go. By the end of 20 weeks to be as fit as I can at my current size, making sure that I'm not losing too much body weight or whatever, which comes easy now anyway. And then I can push little hypertrophy block when it's colder, when it's autumn, when it's winter, when you kind of preserve energy anyway. Time is up, let's go. This feels much worse after intense sprints. Don't need much weight for that. God, it feels horrible. So good. Can't move my legs anymore. I'm gonna go lighter so I really get deep into this one. Even though there's no weight already. Look at my feet. One is not listening to me properly. So I need to be really mindful how I move to get the best out of this movement. Also, like I said, it's not about damaging anything or whatever. It's just acknowledging what's where. And if I use heavy loads, I just can't do that. Heavy loads will come. I can stack it out if I wanted to. But that's not the purpose. My ego is intact. Don't need ego boosters in a gym. Making sure I log everything I do, even though I'm not so obsessed with it when I'm doing any hypertrophy block. But with these, I know that some sessions I will be weaker than others, and I'll just make a note why it happened. Like today I don't feel as strong as usually, but I did high loads on sprints to exhaust my legs. My legs are absolutely trashed before I even move all of these things. Loads are lighter than before, but it doesn't mean I haven't made any progress. Just being mindful that something is different is a big step forward, which a lot of people don't acknowledge. They always get stuck in 40 years past. Oh, I used to do this. Who cares? It's what you do now compared to your body weight now. Like at the moment, I train fasted. I don't eat until like 1, 2 in the afternoon. I train around 6, 7, 8 in the morning. It depends how I wake up. Only supplements I'm taking as well is only multivitamin. I don't take any whey proteins, any carb drinks, any PEDs, never mind something as hard as that. So to me, this is epic at this body weight. Feel good, that's the main part. The most important part of the training session, clean up your weights. Lazy bastards. So focus on these training sessions is just keeping it fast paced. Again, goal is not muscle damage. Goal is to get fitter with what I have now. And when the time comes to go for hypertrophy phase, it's gonna be much easier. Like mentally, these sessions are probably way more challenging than going in the squat rack because you don't get immediate results from it. You're not gonna go in a mirror after this and go, oh, I got a great pump. No, all you feel is just misery. But 4 weeks in, when you can do the same exact stuff without dying. So if I was to do this without any preparation, I would have thrown off after just those sprints, which now is not the case. I feel very uncomfortable doing it, especially at my body weight. I feel good now. So 2 minutes, I'm ready to go again. So what I do now between breaks, I actually try to acknowledge how I moved. Where did my pressure go? Did it go through my ankle, mid of my foot, my toes? How did my shoulders go? Try to mimic everything. So I stop mid-set just to reassess. So like I said, these sessions are about moving well. And when time will come to destroy my body, I'll do just that. Thing is, I can't justify drinking a lot of anything mid-workout when my volume is not that high and I get plenty of food after I finish training and I don't take any drugs to justify doing it. Maybe if I was closer to 130 kilos and I was struggling to find time to get my food in, that would be the case. But at the moment, I'll finish my training, I'm gonna go home, go for a walk, 25 to 40 minutes, go home, get 5-10 minutes cold shower, just change the way I breathe and everything. That usually brings my appetite up really bad. If I don't do that, I just don't want to eat for the rest of the day because my training sessions are quite intense, and I'm one of those guys who's, if I put my body through stress, all he wants is to sleep, not eat. So I need to calm it down mentally, physically, and cold shower usually do that. Same as walk after training. Well, walk outside is usually much more beneficial than any kind of treadmill. So what I just caught there is when I do my right leg, I use more tension on my right arm to push myself up. So on this set I need to fix it and be more relaxed. Because it doesn't take much skill to get tired in a gym, which everyone else does. You need to be mindful about actually training your body, not just going through motions and feel lethargic at the end because you burn calories. I'm not interested in that. And for me, getting better at the moment is staying exactly the same for as long as I can, which a lot of people might not like hearing. But it's like running a business. Now you might be happy with what you make, and now your progress is not getting broke again. For me, my progress is not get broken. This is the great thing. So a lot of people will never want to train like I do because they are afraid of being ridiculed and laughed at and this and that. Who cares? Majority will do what majority think is right to do. That doesn't mean it's what's needed. What I do now, I've been doing all my life, and now I see more and more people starting to doing it, and only difference is that I've never really advertised it. Probably my fault for being so selfish and not putting it out. But at the same time, I've never chased being acknowledged for something, which has to change if I actually want to help people out. Nobody's gonna come and do this stuff. So it's my job to explain why the hell I'm doing this. And even if just one person listens, makes me a hero, I guess. Lifelong question, yeah, but I just want to look good. I don't want to be athletic. And you can look good like this if you have a baseline or some hypertrophy work done before, because that's not going to go unless you stop stimulating your muscle completely. But are you going to look like bodybuilder training like this? No, you're not. That's why it's incredibly powerful to block training sessions throughout seasons, which I've always done. My first and foremost obsession is being strong. Then next is being strong for as long as I can. Not just do one bench press set and that's it. I want to do 5-6 sets of that. And then scale back, lose some body fat, gain some endurance. Stronger you are, quicker you're going to grow. That's the fact. You can still grow without being strong. You're not going to look as dense and striated, so to speak, if you're not strong. And you can see when you go to bodybuilding shows who actually is strong and who isn't. Some people might be huge, but they just look soft and unfinished, so to speak. And then look at the likes of Ronnie Coleman, Brent Warren, Dorian Yates. Powerful, powerful physiques. Grainy as hell. Granite. But truth be told, my inspiration is Mariusz Pudzianowski, not bodybuilders. Last set, let's go. Two sets on this, couple sets on calves, stretch, practice some posing, which you should do all the time anyway if you don't compete as well. I'm not doing it to compete, I'm doing it to acknowledge if there is something that might be injured somewhere in my body. So every time I do some posing and I make a video, Grandma Sybil Peters from Holland, she usually sends me feedback. Why is this not moving? Why is that not opened up or whatever? So it's great to have that kind of feedback to acknowledge what you need to work on. Sometimes you're just delusional. Like I work with a lot of people who say, oh, I don't see any progress. And then you send them comparison pictures. And I also track 25 other metrics to show them what they have improved. They usually go, oh hell, I didn't even acknowledge. But they are completely different human beings. Same as myself. I can look in the mirror and think, oh, nothing's working. But I track everything. I've tracked everything ever since I started training, 2003. My legs were smaller than my biceps is now. That's in case you're wondering about genetics. My quads were, I think, 47 centimeters circumference. My arms are 50 now. So just to give you an example. My biceps is 2 inches bigger than my quads used to be when I started training. Screw your genetics. They're not nice. This is for team full range of motion. Try to do full range of motion when you have legs like mine and belly. No chance you're gonna go all the way down. just gonna harm your lower back. I can squat really deep with no issues. Finish it off with a little bit of cardio. 2 sets of 50, constant tension, no locking out, just as if you were doing blood flow restriction training. So you can achieve same without locking your joints out. When you do your partial reps on your biceps, partial reps on your chest, same exact thing. So if you're brought up in this idea that you always need to look full range of motion, you're probably a novice. I don't understand that all the little things stacked up make a huge difference. And if someone says I don't train legs right, probably need to check your eyesight. My legs back to differ. Fuck. That didn't feel nice. It's almost a wrap. Just baby calves. Give a bit of stimulus to them. Wonder how huge calves get overweight or cycle a lot. I used to ride a bike every day, 15 years. Maybe it's just genetics though. Maybe you just don't do enough. You'll never know. Main thing to always remember, don't be an asshole. Clean gym, clean your weights, clean yourself, clean the equipment. You don't own this place. We all pay the bills. Look after it as if it's yours. Thing is, it's done. All this is done in just over an hour. But when I started working out, that's all I usually had, because I had to walk 5 kilometers home, 5k to school, 5k home, 5k to gym, 5k home again, 5k to see my friends, 5k home again. So 30k a day, every day. You tend to learn to be a bit more efficient than most people, especially when you don't have a car, especially when you can't afford a car, or I couldn't even afford a pair of trainers, never mind anything else. So I used to train bare feet before bare feet training was popular. Thing is, I genuinely don't think you need to do either of these if you're doing a lot of cycling, especially on mountains and stuff. You get to get your calves and your tip anterior hit all the time. Finito. Pause, stretch, go outside for a walk, start cooking food, get cold shower before food, read, relax, get some work done. So, main reason to do this is just to acknowledge what's happening. So, whilst I was doing this, I felt that I'm cramping up slightly. So I'll add some gherkins, some sauerkraut, things like that. Maybe even apple cider vinegar. It helps with cramps and a bit more sodium in my nutrition. But it's mainly because it's quite warm. I sweat quite a lot, and yeah, my legs got trashed from the beginning of the session. But like I said, I usually sprint a bit longer, but it had to be shortened. Added more weight, so that definitely took out of my legs, so I need some more micronutrients. And like I said, I don't eat anything before I train. I have around maybe 2 or 3 liters of water before I come to gym to make sure I'm not hardening myself too much. Because the purpose is not to grow. The purpose is to maintain what I have. And another thing is why I train early in the morning is my brain wakes up in the afternoon. That's when I'm most efficient. Training for me is automated. I don't need to think about it. I don't spend as much energy as someone who's just working out and is a beginner who needs to place their body in certain positions just to hit the muscle in certain way and all those kind of things. To me, it just happens. It's like learning how to drive a car. If you're a novice, it's gonna take you a lot of nerves, a lot of patience, and you just mentally feel drained at the end of it. To me, it's like as if I'm F1 driver already. So I know every single thing that's gonna affect my body, how I'm gonna feel, and because of that, I don't need to think about it anymore. So it's way less mentally challenging for me to train early in the morning than it will be for someone else. But if you want to get most out of your training, I'll probably train midday or late evening. Well, not late evening, maybe when sun kind of sets, then you can just chill out and go to bed. Because most progress is made when you sleep. That's the thing. I can guarantee if you start sleeping a bit longer, and let me rephrase that, if you start sleeping a bit cleaner, you actually take a notice about your HRV, your deep sleep, your REM sleep, you're gonna get better results in how lean you're gonna get, how quick you're gonna grow, how good is your digestion, mental clarity, many other things. So HRV, for example, is a great predictor if you're mentally, so to speak, stable. It's even used in treating people with PTSD. So don't ignore that. Even though I don't sleep a lot, maybe 4 or 5 hours a night, I always get enough deep and REM sleep to make sure my body recovers. And I track it meticulously. And if something is off, I'll take a week off training just to give my body a break. But I've done this for many years, and I know what works for my body. What works for me doesn't mean you need to do that or anyone else need to do that. You probably need to do 20 years what I did to be in this place before you can think about doing what I do. That's why I would always reach out and work with somebody who can assess you correctly, can give you guidance. Even now, I have multiple mentors that I reach out to about supplement use, about nutrition use, about improving my cognitive abilities, about bodybuilding style training, about strength training, many other things. Whilst I plan everything for myself, it's information I have gathered from a ridiculous amount of people, and I'm lucky to be able to talk with what I class as the best professionals out there on the planet who never even advertise themselves to anyone. So if you can find someone like that, don't waste 10, 15, 20 years in a gym listening to your best friend who's been in the gym for 10 years. Doesn't mean they know what they're doing. Find somebody who is actually qualified and who actually can deliver results not only for themselves but for others as well. And I would also really emphasize, go talk to their clients as well. What their clients are telling about this professional, because a lot of people put out great before and afters of somebody who they worked for 6 weeks and then they went into depression. So don't end up that way. And I have worked with some people as well who have been absolutely clueless, and that was great learning curve for me because I am the one who is always listening to what I've been told, and I only assess afterwards if it worked or didn't. I don't question strategies suggested to me whilst I'm doing them. Only at the end, I go and think, hey, can I improve it? Something like that. And then I pass it on to people I work with. And a lot of them will say it's great. And there will be quite a few people saying, no, it's absolute garbage, I can't do that. And that to me is as valuable feedback as someone says that, oh yeah, you're a good coach. So go out there, find what works for you. What I did now, my training session was less than an hour and a half. But all the work I would put in is throughout the day. So my identity is be the way I am now for as long as I can. That means I'm gonna go home. Most of my foods will be clean, so to speak. I'm not eating I don't calorie count. I quality count, how good quality my food sources are, and go from there. So when I will transition into hypertrophy phase, my training style, my nutrition will change completely. I will not be training fasted anymore because that's not gonna serve the purpose. But I can talk about these things many times. The takeaway is find where you want to go, acknowledge where you are, develop a plan, find a group of people or at least one person who holds you accountable to sticking to what you do, and go for it because no one else is going to do it for you. And it's much more fun to be in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s and be able to do what you were able to do at your 20s. This is quite dangerous when you're so slippery now. But that was it. Fast, cheerful, in and out. Go get results now. So whilst you're training, you're not going to get obviously any results. Now it's for me, go home, recover, reassess my day, reassess if I have done the most I could have done it in a gym. The thing is, showing up is half of the battle, because a lot of people want to do everything perfect and they want to get best training plan, best nutrition plan and whatnot. Everything I do now is nowhere near optimal. My number one goal is show up. Number two is grind through my training sessions, because often I open them up and I look at them and I think, what the hell have I planned for myself? Why do I hate myself so much? But I know I have a clear vision at the end how I want to feel, how I want to look, as long as I maintain the way I look now. And if I improve my resting heart rate, HRV, my body weight stays relatively the same, and I don't feel any niggles in any joints by end of this training block, which is going to last another 3 to 12 weeks. I'll decide as I go. I reassess myself weekly, just the way I do with everyone I work with, and we go from there. So summer, I really don't want to push myself to grow any bigger in the summer because it's so energy intensive. I would end up sleeping half of the day, so I don't want to miss out on that time. But everything I do now is pretty much how I train all the time. And the biggest fear people have is losing their identity. And antidote to that is create a new one. You know, a lot of people don't want to come in a gym because they don't want to stand out in between their friends, in between their family, many other things. And to me, you need to work on creating empowering identities that serve your friends, serve your family. And if you truly believe that this is improving your life, maybe you need to leave your friends behind, because oftentimes they're going to hold you back, and you, out of fear of losing them, actually harm yourself, and you also harm them, because you're not living up to your own expectations that you know are beneficial for yourself. And on that note, I need to go out for a walk. I don't want to sit here for too long, get some sun rays on my skin, and improve my recovery. So I feel like if I go out in the sun for a walk after I train, well, even if it's raining, because I live in UK, it bloody rains all the time, it helps me to fight off inflammation in joints that I might otherwise have from just abusing my body. And being at my size is never healthy anyway, so I'll try to do as much as I can to make sure that my recovery is as hard as my training sessions, and only then come nutrition and everything else. So on that note, I might speak to you on next video. See you soon.